Good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, the 21st of June. I am now in St Coulomb, near to St Michel, the place where Columbanus landed all those years ago. On Thursday, I'm going to be meeting with Monsieur René Forgeux, who is the local president of the Friends of St Columbanus. He doesn't speak English, I don't speak French, so we're going to have a kind of interesting conversation between us, hopefully, with the help of Google Translate. In the meantime, yesterday was a driving day. I drove from Liseux to St Michel, where I had a very nice trip up and down the mountain. Today is Monday the 20th. As you can see, I'm sitting on the road to the entrance to St Michel. It's a beautiful day. I've got about another kilometre to go, and I'm about 3 kilometres from the car park. As I've been sitting here, about people have been going past, walking and on their bikes. I've heard, I think, 8 languages at the current count, which is quite exciting. And I'm very much looking forward to see if I can get to the top. I'm being good, lots of exercise walking from the car park to St Michel and hopefully to the top. And I'll let you know how I get on. I was able to have some conversations with a couple of the guides, just exploring the idea of whether Columbanus and his followers popped in on St Michael's Mount on their way past. The discoveries were inconclusive. It is probable that he walked past St Michael's Mount on his way to Liseux-le-Bain. He may or may not have popped in. There was a community definitely living there in the 7th century, but didn't become the Benedictine community until the 10th century. So, but there are certainly very few, if any, records of whether or not he went there. But in spite of that, I had a very nice day. And I arrived. I went to the wrong house initially because there are 2 houses with the same name. In fact, they are back to back. But luckily enough, they were owned by a brother and a sister. So I got to speak to the brother and explained that I was here to stay. And he said, "No, you're not." And I said, "Yes, I am." And after a little bit, well, he didn't speak English, so that was kind of a little bit confusing to begin with. But then he said, "You're probably staying with my sister in the other house." And we had to drive out of his drive, down the road, turn around, come back and approach his sister's house from the other side. And lo and behold, yes, I was staying with his sister, not him. So that was kind of quite exciting for a moment. Today, my plans are to catch up with some washing, which I haven't been able to do yet, and explore St Malo. So I will let you know what happens with that. Now, before I leave, I wanted to just play you a little bit of a clip from a conversation that I had with the couple I was staying with over the last few days as they explain a little bit about their background and their ministry. And Mickey and Steve very kindly provided me with hospitality for the last 48 hours, 72 hours by the time we get to tomorrow, which I am delighted about, and it has been absolutely wonderful, and I really loved eating with you last night, and that was very special.
We did too,
Yes.
thanks.
Yeah. So tell me about yourself. We've obviously chatted a bit already, but so Steve, let's start with you. What is your, what do you do? What's your ministry? What's your role? You've obviously got a number of hats.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
well, Mickey and I have been in France for 34 years, 30 years in Paris, 4 years here. Mm-hmm. I'm a pastor, missionary. Mm-hmm. We came to do church planting. And that led into working with artists, because artists were in the church we planted and in the community around the church where we planted. And then I went and finished a doctoral course of study in urban ministry with a focus on the arts, linking French culture, the arts, and the mission of the church. So ever since then, our full-time ministry has been with artists. We ran a public art space in Paris, and we learned all kinds of things by doing that. And I got to hang over 150 art shows, and we put on concerts and theater productions, and we also helped to get a Christian theater company started.
If I can interrupt just a moment, when you use the word art, my mind immediately goes to paintings and such like, but I think that you probably mean art in a broader sense.
It's true.
All disciplines.
About 60% of the activity was related to visual art.
In the gallery.
But the gallery had the art shows, but the art would stay on the walls, and then the evening there would be theater classes, there would be jazz concert, there would be theater production, or sometimes a book opening, or something like that. So everything that happened in the gallery was arts related.
So how did that relate to the church then?
What we found is that the artists in France were on the margins of the church. Many of them felt like they were on the outside looking in, or if they were on the inside, they were just warming a pew and not really being able to give much to the church, even though they wanted to. So by working with the Christian artists, we were able to help bring down some of those barriers, help the artists learn how to integrate into the church, and help pastors learn how to appreciate the artists. And by working with artists, Christian artists, we were able to help them develop projects together. For instance, one of our fashion photographers did album covers for several of the musicians. And other projects that were launched with a publishing house that grew out of the arts ministry. And so one of the more recent ones that I just was with this week was a Professional Association for Art Historians. Their first meeting was at our public art space 12 years ago. They just came back, and this year it was we had the meeting at the Institut Catholique with presenters from all over Europe and North America.
That was Miki and Steve telling us a little bit about their ministry in Paris. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will be incorporating that and more into the bigger video that I'll be making when I've finished my study.